Welcome to another episode of Southern Tomfoolery Unlimited, the interview show where we like to STFU and listen to our wonderful guests. I'm your host, Zach Evans, joined as always by everyone's best friend, Adam Kelly. Hey, Adam, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
Doing great, man. I'm really excited. We have a very special guest this time, the Glass Cannon Network's resident Swede, actress, comedian, MLG Twitch streamer, and self-professed sassy computer nerd, Miss Ellinor DiLorenzo. Ellie,
Hi.
welcome to the show. We're so
Thank
glad
you.
to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Awesome.
Yeah, we are too.
Yeah. Well, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, Ellinor. We know you're an actress, comedian, and content creator, but what led to your decision to be a performer?
I think that's something that sort of. So actually, like from what I remember is that I read my first fantasy novel as a 12-year-old. It was the Belgariad. I read it in Swedish, so I don't really know. So I don't really know how to say it in English. But it was David Eddings. And I remember thinking, I mean, I was smart enough to know that, well, this is not going to happen in reality because there's no such things as magic, because I was a cynical young Swede. But then I'm like, but it could happen in films and movies. And so that's when I was like, oh, I kind of want to perform and do that kind of stuff. And that's when I decided to become an actor. Very young, but I also I've been like a goofball and like been like loving the stage since I was like, I don't know, since forever. So it was a very natural step for me. But I did have more ambitious goals. Like I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be like a baker. I wanted to be a farmer. Like I had all of the
a lot of things. Yeah.
That'd make for a busy day.
Exactly.
Just
I wanted to do it all
net.
at once. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then I ended up on acting, which seemed to be the most sustainable and smartest choice, considering what a great career choice that ended up to be.
Yeah, I mean, they always say if you want a stable and non-competitive career choice to get into entertainment.
Exactly. Entertainment is such a stable, chill 9 to 5.
Lots of job security for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
My next question was going to be specifically about your nerddom. Like, where did your passion for gaming and tabletop begin? But I guess that novel is kind of the start of it.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading like young people fantasy, like Harry Potter, like everyone else,
Sure.
And that kind of stuff. But I didn't really really care about the community around it. I'm like, these are cool books that I like. I'm the only one who likes them, you know. And then
These are mine.
Exactly, these are mine now. And I was a little bit weirdly protective of my nerddom, like early on, like throughout most of my teenage years. I didn't really share it with anyone because most of my friends were into other things and I thought they would never understand. But then eventually around 15, 16, I got into into my first tabletop group, and we played a Swedish game called Drakar och Demoner, which is very, very similar to Dungeons and Dragons. But it's a Swedish format. And so we played that. A couple of sessions didn't go so well because these were teenage boys. And I was, I think, the first girl they ever met. I'm
sure that was totally not awkward at all.
Yeah, like they ended up shooting me with a shot air gun when I did bad mistakes. So,
oh God, what?
Gosh.
Yeah. Or airsoft gun. I don't know. I don't know all the English lingo for these guns, but it was one of those that don't kill you, but injure you.
But hurt. So, yeah, that's airsoft for sure.
Airsoft.
How cruel.
Yep. I mean, man. I mean, it was one dude. It was one dude who was like that. The rest of them were like, "Is this a good idea, guys?" Yeah.
No. The answer is no.
Should we be shooting our fellow players with airsoft guns?
We finally got a girl to join our table. Shall we shoot her? You know, it's like.
So. As a Swedish native living now in America, can you tell us a little bit more about the differences between nerd culture in Sweden versus the U.S.? You mentioned the TTRPG that's like Dungeons and Dragons, but not necessarily Dungeons and Dragons. Like, what else is different?
Well, I can safely say that I haven't encountered a Swedish table again that shot me with the airsoft gun, so it's safe in that way. But I will say TTRPGs are huge in Sweden. I think per capita we're one of the biggest consumers of that kind of stuff.
Wow.
We have that. Yeah, we have Free League Publishing that produces so much quality content based on their D6 system. And they come out with new stuff all the time. They have the Tales from the Loop, the Alien RPG, and so early on, I think in the early 80s, role playing similar to Dungeons and Dragons came over, so to speak. And Scandinavians in general have always been fascinated by American culture, and so it's been always a very easy transition because most Swedes at least speak English, understands, the pop culture is very influenced by America, so it's a very the transition wasn't that hard. It's not we kind of want to be Americans.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, we want to be the good things about America.
Yeah,
so,
right. That makes sense.
Did you have the satanic panic surrounding Dungeons and Dragons and TTRPGs?
No, we're a deeply secular country. With most of us are atheists, if anything, and so I think none of the moral, like, that's something we have always made fun of Americans of like being too prudish and prude, and so I think we were just like, well, idiots,
That's nice.
Yeah,
Isn't that
exactly. That's
special?
nice.
Yeah.
But we are, but like crazy enough though, of course, then Scandinavians tend to be the ones who, like, if I were a super worried Christian lady about Satan, I would not go to Sweden and check out their stories because, of course, our stories are so unbelievably dark and like doing exactly the things that they are afraid of that we will be doing. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's like, so we're like, oh, cool, we can include the devil in this game. Let's have him be like eating children all day, and it's like, oh God. So yeah, we're dark.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Where do you think that comes from? Where do you think that tendency towards dark humor comes from in Swedish culture?
Oh man, I think we have a very low sense of humor to begin with. Like I think like for me, my favorite thing about America is that you're the kings of entertainment. Like this is why I came here, to be a entertainer versus staying in Sweden. We have some jokes, but I would say we're not afraid of exploring the really, really dark stuff about human nature. And I try to take what I've learned from being in New York, and like how to hone in on the comedy of stuff, and then also bringing my dark Nordic sense of like not really holding back ever, of exploring that kind of stuff, and try to find a mix without, it can get really offensive, honestly. Like people don't really appreciate that all the time. But it's,
you mean there's people that don't like eating babies out there?
No, I don't know. It's crazy, right? It's really crazy. But like
prudes, like you said, prudes.
Prudes, exactly. Prudes, and yeah. But I would say so. I think it comes from, it could be anything, but like I think Scandinavians in general, they pride in themselves in wanting to break the barriers and wanting to push the
boundaries,
line, the boundaries, and going a little further than what's been explored before. I think we're very early with porn, for example, and so so sex and dark stuff and violence and like that kind of stuff has always, I think, fascinated us. Because we early on politically didn't really have these religious restraints on us. I think we early on became relatively secular and but still try to have a very moral guideline. Like it's a weird mixture of at least Swedes are very worried about being politically correct and not wanting to offend anyone unnecessarily, and like staying in the loop of what is considered offensive and not offensive. So it's a weird mix. It really is a weird
Sounds
mix.
Sounds dope.
Yeah. It's fun. Sounds like
I feel like I could jive with that pretty well. Yeah.
I want to go to Sweden now.
Yeah, well, go in the summer. Don't go in
after the pandemic, right?
After the pandemic, go to the summer, but also like I was gonna say, like, the dark humor might come from also having 6 months of no sun.
Yeah, it's very cold, I'm sure.
It's cold and dark. So yeah, I would go in the summer. Everyone's happy then, and weird stuff can happen.
Yeah. So anyway, switching gears back to nerd culture. We know that you have recently started a Discord server. And we ourselves, we have a pretty active Discord community. So we were hoping we could talk a little about the impact of having a solid online community as a creator, especially during these tumultuous times that this year has thrown at us.
So it was my friend Anne Richmond that you guys probably have heard of, because she's also a regular over at the Glass Cannon. She suggested to me, and she's been a little bit my mentor for the past couple of years. We knew each other before Glass Cannon. And she was like, and I panicked during the pandemic, honestly, because I was like, I don't know what my part in this world is going to be anymore. And so she's like, I think you need to focus on building your own community, Ellie. I think people need to be excited about you versus the gigs that you have, because the gigs you have, as you can see now in the pandemic, might disappear one day, right. And so you end up not working on something for a while. And so that's sort of what led me into starting my own Discord community. But I must say, I mean, it's been hard to find a balance and being able to create something that I feel like what's the purpose of this outside of just making me feel better? Because I feel great about having 100 people being really nice to me. Like that's
of course.
Like, but I want to bring value to other people, and if like that's also not being offered anywhere else. And currently, I'm like, is my Discord? Can it be that? What value can I bring additionally to what's already out there? And there's so many Discord community that already offers these things. So I've been a little like, what can I do here? What's my purpose here? But the way I see it for my Discord right now is that as opposed to like Twitter and other more open and public platforms where I do also talk to people who are interested in me, I tend to see Discord more as a family sort of friendship thing with people who actually want to talk to me in a more real way. I get a lot more personal and share my anxieties and worries a lot more in my Discord. But I'm also worried every day that I'm like, whoops, overshared again.
Sure. Yeah, that's definitely a similar feeling that I have within our Discord community. But like you said, it can be a great place for building community and like building like a familial kind of environment, you know, even if you don't think that what you're doing by having this platform is providing any value, you'll be shocked at the amount of people who are like, I'm so glad that I found this community, because not just you, but everybody else in that community is contributing to it. And
for sure.
In a sense, you're just providing like a beacon light for people to come and meet each other around it, right? And they have a shared interest in you and your projects and what you do, and then they come together to meet you and talk to you and end up meeting each other. And I mean, that's like what's one of the coolest things that I've noticed about these Discord communities is that like it's a way that's almost like moths to a flame with people of similar interest coming together around this one thing, and then being like, oh my gosh, there's so many people like me out there, and I thought that I was all alone, and I mean, that in my experience on your Discord, that's certainly happening there. I mean, you have a lot of people who are using it as a way to like have some emotional balance.
For sure. Yeah, I think, and I was very surprised by how that worked, because at first I was like, all right, so is this where I say that I go live on Twitch every day? But then I've gotten to know people, and I guess this is also a little bit my boundary issue of wanting to be friends with everyone who's nice to me. Like I have a hard time accepting the fact that they're not I can't be friends with everyone who shows, like, especially since I also have a goal of like growing an audience really. And so if I reach my goal of like 10,000 people watching my stuff every time I put something out, then like realistically, obviously I can't be best friends with every like
with
I
all
can try.
10,000.
Exactly.
Right.
I can try, but I don't think I'll succeed. Especially considering I'm an introvert and also get socially exhausted after 2 seconds. But
hard same.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
worry. Yeah, we understand.
Yeah, and so it's in that sense it's hard, but I have found, like, especially with linking it to my streaming, you know, it's the sort of the same group of people who come to my streams every morning. We make jokes there, and I get to know these people in a way that, I mean, to me is really, really nice. Like, I also find myself really caring about them, like, in a kind of a creepy way, because like the other day, a guy who's always been on my streams, he didn't show up on my stream, and I'm like, where are you?
Are you all right? What
exactly.
happened?
I'm like, did you die? You know, and I'm like actually concerned for them, and I feel, and that's how I'm like, all right, maybe I should take a little break. Maybe I should calm down and realize not everyone will come and watch my dumb game every morning, you know, like they have real lives, you know.
Yeah.
So,
right. Yeah. For sure. Well, speaking of your content, there is a lot of content that you're creating right now that we want to feature. But since Androids and Aliens was how most people were introduced to you, we just want to touch on this project for just a few questions. So, how did you come to join the Glass Cannon Network and specifically A&A?
They posted a casting notice on one of the big actor sites in New York, and I immediately read like the description. I was like, oh, I'm perfect for this. And then like a couple of weeks later, Troy reached out. This was way before we got to know each other, so he was very nice.
Yeah, yes, before he lifted the veil, huh?
Exactly, and I was very nice back, and we had like, I was like, oh, what a wonderful man. I guess this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, and so he called me in for an audition, and audition. We mostly spoke, and he was actually very open with me of like, we love you, so we would love for you to come in and try a disorganized play is what it was called then. It was like a four session thing, and then also Grant knew a friend of a friend and so I pestered her because when I came in and did that show with them. Then they said while I was there, by the way, we're releasing this to our audience, just so you know, and so no pressure. And I'm like, oh, god damn it. But then, so I kind of pestered her and was like, can you like poke Grant a little bit for like say that I'm amazing, and I think she did a couple of times, and Grant reached out and was also like, so I kind of had that in as well, but I had never heard of them before I saw that audition notice, so I started immediately listening to their main flagship show, and the rest is history, as
they say.
Yeah.
So, what are your favorite parts of Starfinder, and also maybe some least favorite parts of the system?
Of the system? Oh shit. I'm gonna go on the record and say that I hate Starship combat. I can't be. I guess I could be more politically correct about it, but
it's okay. Tell us how you really feel, Ellie.
Exactly. I think it's a broken system. I have so many ideas that I will probably rant about in the future when I have to encounter it again. When like on the show, because I have ideas how to fix it. But I'm also realizing that I'm one of those assholes who have, this is how you fix this problem that you didn't ask me to come with opinions on, you know. I think, but like one of the main ones is that I don't think every ship should have initiative order. I think you should have two main ships. The GM plays one ship, the players play the other ship, and then you can have little tiny, I don't know, bullets that are also ships or something. I don't know. I have a whole thing that I should.
I mean, I agree. That's how we do it.
That's amazing.
I like all enemy ships operate under one initiative role.
Yeah.
You know, and so like it's the players do their thing and the enemies do their things because it's already kind of like a lot going on, and to have, I agree with you, and that's just the decision that just kind of, we didn't even talk about it. It's just how I started doing
I
it.
was about to say, that's kind of how it is, but that's that's because that's our experience, and that's Adam's sort of call that he made.
Yeah, maybe like I wouldn't even, because right now it's like you have smaller ships with like a couple of crewmates that are like, it's not everyone has the 5 full crewmates and all that stuff, but I do think I haven't tried many other sci-fi starships TTRPGs, but I've heard that there are other systems that are a little bit more streamlined. I
think the Star Wars one does a really good job with it, but it's like so locked into the Star Wars IP, but like I've heard really good things about the mechanical structure of how it's handled there.
I've heard that's exactly what I've heard too. I haven't tried Star Wars, but I do understand like I understand the love for wanting to have a really cool, sick starship combat. Like, I mean, initially I was like, this is such a cool thing. I can't wait to get into starship combat. But I think it's also like the stress of having to do a show around it, and then you kind of have the problem is like the pilot is the one that does most of the stuff, and perhaps the gunner. The rest of us are just sitting there with our dick in our hands, and kind of like hopefully we'll roll high enough for these insane DCs, and so it's not a very pleasurable system aspect of specifically Starfinder, but I do think it can be fixed, and I don't think I'm not shitting on starship combat in general. I love the idea. I just think it could be worked on a little bit. And my favorite thing is honestly everything else. Like, so I think like that's the one glaring thing that I don't like, but I love everything else because I know people think that Starfinder has some problems. It's like a morph between Pathfinder 1 and 2. But I mean, having not played that much Pathfinder, I don't really have anything to compare with. But I think a lot of it makes sense. A couple of things that I have a beef with but I would have a beef with that with anything. I hate attack of opportunity against a ranged weapon when you're having a gun and then for some reason you have to roll an attack of opportunity. Despite having
Zach and I had that argument a long time ago when we were first playing. He's like, it just doesn't make sense to me if I have a gun and you have a sword.
Yep.
That if I shoot you, you get to attack me first. That makes no sense.
Yeah, those kind of things that I like. I would probably fix those a little bit, but I love having played a lot of Free League stuff lately. That it's a lot more streamlined into story, and its rules are so simple compared to Pathfinder and Starfinder. I must say that I really enjoy getting really into the nitty gritty. It feels like a chess game, it feels like sure, 99% of the time I fail because I either roll like shit or I mess up a rule or I do something bad and then, get teased for it for the rest of for an hour.
For the rest of the episode.
Yeah, exactly. But like when you do something really cool and you feel like you've worked on it, and I have something really cool planned for my current character that I'm so excited to try it on and see if it works. Because I don't think anyone's going to expect it. Then that kind of stuff gives me a lot of pleasure as well. So I do like very heavy rules role playing as well. But sometimes it's very fun to be able to just do role playing games as well. So I don't have like a system preference in that sense. I think everything can be fun. Depends on your group and
just how you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the setting? I know that I often harp on the science fantasy setting because I think it's just so versatile. Yeah, and I was curious if you enjoy that as opposed to traditional fantasy here.
I mean, I love traditional fantasy. I think if I would read a book, I usually go for traditional fantasy over sci-fi. But I love being able to kind of do both in Starfinder. Because I love the setting. I must say, I love space. One of my favorite TV shows, and it's funny because the other way, I would watch usually a sci-fi show over a fantasy show.
Yeah.
So it's like it's two different things. But Battlestar Galactica was probably my favorite TV show for a solid 6 years. I rewatched it so many times, and And I love the world of space, and also like every time there's I also think, even though you don't really get into it in magical world because your characters are so cool, an Alien RPG goes into this more of a like how dangerous space actually is.
Scary.
It's super scary, and it's also like you're kind of fucked if you don't
if
like
one thing goes wrong. You're done for.
Exactly. So I think space is to me really cool. But do I love hanging out in a tavern with some busty barmaid? Yes, I do love that too. So, but you can have that in Starfinder. But usually they're like made of robot stuff. So it's not
or have an undeterminate number of appendages and things.
Exactly.
It's even more bust, like 5 breasts.
Minimum 3.
Erotic roleplay is not as easy in Starfinder, if you know what I'm saying.
Believe us, we know. So what has been the biggest surprise or maybe the strangest experience that you have had so far in your time with the Glass Cannon Network?
I mean, I came in very, very early when they weren't as successful as they are now. So so much has happened since then. And I think it's been hard for me to know it's been hard for me to understand always what my role is with the company now, because it's like I came in as an actor, but also like became friends with them, but then they grew and became really big, and now we're enemies. No, I'm kidding. I was like, it sounded weird. I'm like, I became friends with them then, but now we hate each other. No, but like obviously they grew and became really big. So I think it was an interesting like, oh shit, I signed up for something and now this is a completely different thing. And obviously it's great that they're doing so well. So it's been exciting, but it's also been a little like, oh God, how do I relate to all this? And I think the surprising thing about all of this is that I think the people who listen to us and the people who likes us seem to be really good people. Like everyone, I haven't encountered almost any toxic or shitty behavior from any fan. Like occasionally there's a comment that people usually apologize for if I call them out on it. So I think I said to...
So you're not being shot by airsoft guns.
Exactly.
That's great. That's great. It's progress.
Pretty low bar, but no, I am. But I think I told one of them once that I'm like, I feel like we have better listeners than we deserve, because I think people are so nice, people are so generous, people are so that surprised me really, because my experience with the gaming community and not the TTRPG community, but like, video games was, I did a brief little project back in 2011, and it's just every time I did something, existed as a woman in this world, I felt like just attacked constantly. And I thought this is probably what it would be as well. Like, because I happened to be the first woman they involved in their games as well. Right. So I expected a lot worse, but then I found out that no, man, this is a great community. I understand now why everyone freaking loves this, Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Well, you've definitely been a nice addition to the Glass Cannon Network, and I mean, Androids and Aliens I love it, and but you've done more than that a lot lately. And so I want to kind of move out of Glass Cannon talk. And you've recently taken the plunge into GMing your own podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And producing it and all that. The Lost Mountain Saga. Mm-hmm. We've listened to the first 3 episodes that you have out. And, the blend of humor and horror, it's fantastic. What motivated this project? As if just GMing the lovely Anne Richmond and Sydney Emanuel isn't enough reason to do it alone.
Sure. I mean, what prompted it was similar to what we were talking about before about prompting a Discord. Similar feelings of panic, I guess. Mm-hmm. Of like, what do I do now? I have no job. And what can I bring out there that's interesting? And I felt like, and and this was in May, I think, when I heard for the first time about this cool system called Vasen by Free League, and it was set in my hometown Uppsala in the 18th century, 19th century. Every interview I've done, I've messed that up. And so I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's mythology mixed with my world that I came from, and so I reached out to I started talking a little bit about it with Sydney and Anne, because we were talking because we were all sort of in the same boat of like not getting much creative jobs right now, and kind of missing playing tabletop and doing that kind of stuff. So the idea was to just do something fun for ourselves and try it and see if we liked it. And then I got bit by the whole ambitions and wanting to do a lot more than I probably should have. And so I think I set my goals pretty high for it all of a sudden, like, and made it into, like, we had video cameras, we had everything. We were going to release like a TV show. It was going to be a pilot. Like, it was all these things. And then it all fell flat because we didn't have the technology and resources, and COVID was still a thing. So it was really a shit show, if you will. But we managed to at least scrape the audio out of it. And then I spent long time editing it. And the results is what's now released, and I wanted to release something to see if, like, is there an interest in this? Is this something that people would want to subscribe to and listen to? And it seems like a lot of people likes it, and to me that's enough to at least do one more season of it, which is a little bit more polished, a little bit more like now we know what we're doing kind of situation. And so we'll see, but that's how it started. It started with something that out of desperation, I guess, and then opportunity meets desperation.
Yeah,
and we went.
So the pod is using, as you mentioned, is Vasen? Is it pronounced Vasen?
Vasen. Vasen. Yeah, it's like an AE pronunciation. It's
Vasen. And that is from Free League Publishing, who you've mentioned several times. That's a Swedish company as well. So can you give our listeners a little more of an in-depth overview of the system? Because it sounds really interesting.
Yeah. So it's basically if anyone has played Tales from the Loop or Alien RPG, it's a very similar system in terms of mechanics. It's you play only with D6s, and you only worry about getting a success, like getting a 6. It's like Yahtzee, and so that's most of the mechanics to that. But then of course there's a million other things of like upgrades and armor and all that kind of stuff. But I would say like the setting is 19th century Sweden, Uppsala, but also all of Scandinavia or Europe or the world if you want. And it's based on these creatures that exists among us that only certain people can see. The people who have the sight, and then they must find like rituals and ways to combat these creatures, or use them for help, or use them for like other things. So it's like similar to Witcher, if you've either seen or played that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
if you've heard about this,
But this little
Witcher.
Yeah, I don't know.
Series called The Witcher.
Some weird indie developer, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's similar to that. It's like you're finding these, like some of them are monsters, like awful creatures, like ghosts that will haunt you forever, and some of them are cute little gnomes that are just hanging out in their little hut. And so that's the premise of the game. So it's like mixed with Sherlock Holmes, because you need to uncover clues and do that kind of stuff, and like also exist in a 19th century setting. But then you add that on to this supernatural aspect of it as well. And I'm writing a campaign for it right now. So like more like a main plot line versus a Monster of the Week, even though I will have a couple of Monster of the Week episodes or arcs, because I kind of want to, there's a couple of Vasen. I mean, that's the thing. The creatures are called Vasen in Swedish.
Okay.
So that's what it's based on. And it's really cool. It's based on Norse mythology. But then they have also ways to put it in America, for example, and use American mythology and Canadian. There's a whole adventure I saw the other day that's set in Quebec in Canada.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, yeah, you can really use it anywhere. But I think what really sold us to it, me and in Sydney, was that we will be able to have this quite realistic setting. Like there's no heroes in this in that way. A realistic setting in a realistic world, but then like a little sprinkle of supernatural stuff.
Well, it being in your hometown, like you have that expertise of being able to like really, in your mind's eye, know where they are, or what they're doing, you know. And I think that's really cool choice there.
Yeah.
As I said, the first 3 episodes are great, you know, and I can't wait to hear where y'all go from here.
Thank you for saying that. I was very, very nervous releasing that this whole thing, because it's hard to put yourself out there. I mean, you know this too. It's just scary. Inviting people to your table, sort of, that have no, like, most people are very nice, but like there's nothing that stops an internet troll from completely, you know, breaking you apart.
Yeah, definitely. So what are some of the other major differences that you've experienced as a GM and producer versus just being a player in a podcast production? That's
such a good question, and I feel bad because I don't want to give Troy any fucking any credit.
You don't want to give him any props.
Like I said, no, but like I kind of understand where he's coming from when he's stressed out about like players not being prepared enough and things like that. But especially, and since I'm also a producer, you know, you work so hard on something, and you're like, it's like you do everything, and you're such a perfectionist about it, and it just becomes a huge thing versus just having a regular game with your friends that no one will ever hear again. This will be out there forever, and so the pressure is on. You're also, you kind of want to do a good show. Like, you want to do a good show. I wouldn't do this unless I could get an audience and was proud of it. So it's really, it made me very humble to the fact that being a GM can be really tough, especially because it's like a thankless job because of all the things you have to do. And then someone says a really funny joke, and then everyone's like, that's amazing. That person is the best. That person is the best thing about this show. And I'm like, okay, cool. I just like spent 72 hours without sleeping.
Working on this thing.
Yeah.
And they may even just ignore the thing that you spent so much time on.
Exactly. And so I realized, but I also realized that's also a little bit like me being kind of a dick about it, I guess, because it's like at the end of the day, a group success should be what matters. Like we should see this as a group effort. But I can see from the also GM perspective, when you're like, you worked so hard, people come in late, or people, you know, don't bring their A game, and you're just like,
or their dice.
Oh, see, that's I had dice, damn it.
I know.
It's just,
you had a roller. It's all you needed.
I had a roller, and the sad thing is, of course, well, for those of you who haven't caught up on Androids and Aliens, we started streaming last week. We had a little situation. I've been rolling digital dice since we went live, by the way, because I'm dealing so much damage now that I can't do the math, possibly. And so I thought that would be fine. And I have like 5 shitty D20s that I took home with me before the pandemic, because I was like, I'm never going to use these. But then Joe wouldn't let me into the office before we started recording. So I'm like, okay, but now it's solved now. I have my dice. Okay. So from next week, you'll be good. I'll have my dumb dice next to me that I never use anyway, because I'll use the digital roller anyway. So
yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So what's in the future for the Lost Mountain Saga? You mentioned writing kind of a campaign that you have coming up.
Yeah, so we're recording a couple of episodes on Monday, this upcoming Monday, December 7th. And then we're hoping to start releasing weekly in January. I haven't really set down any dates yet. As per usual, I have a very high ambition for this, and so I know that I will have to lower my expectations. But I wanna have like a really cool, like, trailer for it as well, and so that's gonna be my Christmas project now, to just sit down and edit these episodes, and then we hope to get like a nice backlog and be able to have a couple of episodes just in the can, so we can weekly provide the continuation of the saga. We hope to also have guests. I've already confirmed Skidmar to be one of the first guests.
Nice.
And then we kind of want to bring in a third permanent player eventually, if there's a second season. I call it seasons because it's easier that way. So I think this first season will be mainly Anne and Sydney, and then guests from time to time. But then we will eventually would like to find a third person as well.
It's a good,
awesome.
Nice round number. 3, for sure.
3
absolutely.
plus me.
And it's manageable, too. 3's still manageable. It doesn't get crazy out of hand.
Yeah.
All right. So, we're excited for that. I hope to see good things from you with the Lost Mountain Saga.
Yeah.
But let's move on.
Yep.
To another big project that you're doing now is streaming games on Twitch.
Yeah.
So this has been kind of a huge community builder for you. And while Adam and I both really like video games, Twitch is still a bit of an unexplored medium for us. So we'd love to know what got you motivated to start your own Twitch channel and share all of your hilarious gaming attempts with the world.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was like an accident. That was never, out of all the things that I've done, I've always had sort of a plan, and then it usually falls through and becomes a garbage dumpster fire anyway. But with this one, I needed a morning routine. Because this was in May, I think, when I was just like, man, I sleep 2 hours a night, and then I sleep sometime between 1 and 5 p.m. And I don't know what I'm doing. This pandemic is really murdering me. So I was like, what if I stream at 10 a.m. every day? I don't care if anyone watches, just to do something, to wake up, put on makeup, get on in a nice outfit. So that's how that started. And I started off with Civilization, which is a game I actually know, but then I morphed into Red Dead Redemption 2, which became the big revelation for a lot of people, because they're like, oh dear God, she is an awful video gamer, and it's a lot of fun to watch this person blow things up. And so I think that's when I realized, there might be something here that's worth pursuing for a while. And so I played through Red Dead Redemption, and then my computer crashed, and I lost my entire game and everything I had built up. And so, and then in August I tried to come back to it, but then I got unfortunately a little sick, and had to take a little break. But then now I started streaming again, and it's been like my favorite thing. Every day to just get back to it and play some more Red Dead Redemption. I played some Grand Theft Auto as well, which was a lot of fun, because it's like I like these open worlds where you can just explore and do things and get it.
Absolutely. You also stream some horror games.
Oh yeah.
So do you like horror games, or do you just think it would be good content to watch you getting the crap scared out of yourself, or what? Yeah,
I mean, that was also like a discovery while we were doing it. I was going to play, I started with playing Little Nightmares. That's sort of the first game I played through. But that was a very sporadic, once in a blue moon kind of stream. But and people loved it because we found out that if they gave me bits and things, like, so if they give me money, I had added some sounds like ABBA, and it would scare the shit out of me every time. And I'm like, wait, well, okay, sure. And I'm like, I'm okay with that deal. Normally, I don't like asking people for money. But then I'm like, but now they're giving me a heart attack, so they better pay for my hospital bill, because I am shortening my life for you right now. Yeah. So that felt like better to be like, if you wanna give me a jump scare, then you have to give me $5 or whatever. And yeah, so that became a thing. And I'm actually very excited because Little Nightmares 2 is coming up. And so that's going to be the next big stream for me. Something I haven't really figured out, though, is that I don't do VODs. Like, I don't do video on demand on YouTube and things like that afterwards. Because I don't think it's good enough. Like, I don't think, like, well, who would watch 2 hours of a stream?
You would be shocked, Ellie. You would be shocked. And how many people will actually watch those VODs later on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm already like, I wish Twitch would just keep them, because they did.
Yeah.
It sucks that, because I don't want, like, I have ideas and plans for my YouTube, and I don't want to clutter it with.
Yeah, you want it to be a separate.
Exactly. So I just wish that Twitch could. Yeah, like just have a library, but I realized they have millions.
You could make a separate channel.
For like for YouTube?
A separate YouTube channel. Yeah.
Damn it.
A lot of people do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of people have like specifically a VOD channel. So
yeah, actually, that makes a little bit too much sense. Damn it.
We're here to help you.
Yeah.
Ellie, you know?
No, but it is. It's all these things are super. Like it's interesting to have these conversations as well with fellow content creators, because it's like, yeah, what do you guys do? Because I have no freaking idea. Like I feel like it's also like a guessing game, unless you're a TikTok genius.
Well, yeah, you just don't ever know what platform's gonna just crumble all of a sudden, and you know, because I know that there was a bunch of streamers, I can't even remember the name of the platform, but that they all just got burned.
Mixer, right?
Yeah,
Mixer.
Yeah. Like that people had like really established themselves on that, and it just got shut down.
And Sydney Emmanuel, she was like a Vine celebrity, and then all of that just disappeared. I don't know if. She said she was a Vine celebrity. So if she's not, then I fucked them. Whatever. But she said like all of her stuff was gone one day, and I'm like, man, what if that happened to like iTunes or something, and like all of Glass Cannon would be gone, or all
gosh. Yeah.
I doubt that Apple is gonna go into bankruptcy.
Well, and I mean that's why you keep copies on your hard drive. You know, I got a whole hard drive of all of our.
Wait a second. What is a hard drive? What is a?
I want to get back to Red Dead Redemption. I know that you do love that game, and we've actually talked a little bit about it on your Discord.
Nice.
You know, I have my reservations about it, but Zach is a big fan of the game. He's the reason I played the game. You know, he's like, Adam, you got to play this game. And we were talking about it through my whole playthrough. Let's just talk about the game itself. You know, what do you love about it? I know Zach loves it. I'm curious to just kind of discuss it.
I loved Arthur's story. I hadn't played the first one, so I came in very blind. A lot of people who are listening to this right now know, though, that I skip a lot of story because I get bored immediately. But I do love it. I do enjoy the moments that matters, and then I skip some exposition. But I think the story is great, but I also think, it's a gorgeous game. It's like just such a, and my sister lives in Colorado, so I have some sort of idea what it looks like out there, and I love the American nature, and there's so much nature, and I'm like, man, I wish I could visit the U.S. when it would look like this. Right. Not to say that it looks like garbage right now or anything. It looks great still, but
it's much more civilization darted.
Exactly. And like the idea of being a cowboy, like I had no idea that I would be into that, but I am super into it, and I'm actually I'm hoping to incorporate some cowboys into my Lost Mountain saga, because I'm like, that would be, because it's the same timeline. So it's I for me that's like such a cool thing to explore. And then Skid and I have always made fun of me for not knowing any American history, and so it's been helpful to learn.
You know everything you know about American history from Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. And I also checked out Deadwood at the same time, the HBO.
Oh wow, yeah.
So now I'm like an expert on the Western stuff.
As a fellow cowboy fan, I feel that really hard.
Yeah. But in terms of gameplay, I don't know what your reservations are, Adam. Do you?
I just feel, for me, that it like expects you too much as a player to like expects too much time out of you, in the sense that like you cannot run through a city, because if you do, you'll inevitably run into somebody, because the aliasing isn't great on that, and so you'll bump into somebody. Next thing you know, they're shooting at you, and you have all of the law on you when you were just trying to go get a new cowboy hat. You know what I mean? And so you have to sit there and like, I'm really busy and I don't have as much time for video games as I'd like, and so when I sit down to play, I don't want the hour of my time that I have in that day to be spent very gently pushing on the joystick so I don't accidentally run into some old lady in a bonnet. You know what I mean? Like,
well, what you have to do there is just ignore the fact that you ran into the lady in the bonnet and just embrace the darkness inside of you and use a dynamite
just shoot everybody up.
Exactly. Clear the street before you enter it, so to speak. But I can see that. Like now it made for pretty fun streaming moments,
right?
Because I'm exactly the same. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not gonna walk anywhere. Like, why would I use my dumb legs when I have my cool horse
that just tramples everything in its path? Exactly,
like
except for a bush, which it then launches you off the horse.
Exactly. That's so I can see how that could be unbelievably frustrating in like when you're playing on your own. But I think like it's the same with Grand Theft Auto. Like I don't even give myself time to dismount properly. Like I just jump out of the car because I'm like, I don't have time for some dumb brakes. What are you talking about? So to me, that's like hilarious. But I also realize I can see also the other side of that coin. Yeah.
I really liked the music.
Oh yeah.
Everything about the presentation of Red Dead Redemption 2 is amazing. Like I'd give everything about that game a 10 out of 10 except for the actual gameplay, which I would give like a 6 out of 10. You know, like I think it would be a much more interesting show to watch.
Yeah.
Than to play.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just, as I said, I have limited amount of time, and so my hour I want to be playing the game and making progress, you know. So that's my impatience.
Yeah. They have I'm a little disappointed in the romance options as well. But I'm always disappointed in the romance options of like anything.
Yeah, you recently finished the epilogue story, right? You recently.
Yeah, I'm still finishing it. Hopefully next week, if I can. But yeah, I was really angry about
about the John and
his wife. I'm like, the women are so. I mean, I don't know, but like the women are garbage. Except there's one female character that's amazing called Sadie Adler.
Sadie's fantastic.
But the women, like the wives, are just like whiny and like when he tries to do something nice for her. She's just like, what are you doing? Are you dumb? You know, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, be nice.
Doing my best.
Exactly. And so I'm like, I don't like the writing of them particularly because I do think, to me, and that's, I'm also a huge, like, romance nerd. I love like, interesting romance stories. I always spoil myself if I like a couple. I'm like, I want to ship them, and so I always Google them before, so I don't get disappointed if I find out that they don't end up together. I started watching Full Metal Alchemist recently, and immediately looked up like who he would end up with because I wanted to know. But so that's just the way I think there will never be a story that I will be 100% happy with romantically, but the rest is great.
Yeah. So, aside from Red Dead, what are some of your favorite aspects of Twitch streaming, being a Twitch streamer? What do you like about it?
I love the interaction with chat. I don't think I would have done it. Like, it feels like, and so usually I thought I was always going to be a multiplayer gamer, like liking multiplayer games. Now I've gone into almost exclusively to single player because it feels like I am playing a multiplayer when I have the people cheering me on in chat. It feels like I'm playing with other people. Yeah. So I think that's what makes it. That's why I don't do Let's Plays where people will comment after the fact. I like the live format of it, of just hanging out with people. Yeah.
And I've noticed that that's easy to feel that way when you're playing with other people, because you'll see a lot of streamers say like, we're going over here, we're doing this.
Yeah.
You feel like you're engaged with the chat, that it's not just you doing it. I think it's us together.
Yeah, I think you obviously need to have an active chat for that to happen. which I'm fortunate enough to have. Even from when I had like low numbers, so to speak, people were still very active and encouraging and happy to hang out and talk about things. And sometimes they start talking about things that aren't related, but that's still fine. It's like playing a game with your friends in the living room. And who cares if they start talking about, something completely different while you're playing a boring segment of the game,
Yeah.
But then when it's like, oh God, we're gonna solve this puzzle now together, it's like, I think it's a lot of fun. But it's something, it's very recent to me. Like I never really considered streaming. I encountered Twitch in 2010 and was like, nah, not for me. And then now I'm like, if I had started in 2010, that's like 10 years ago. I would have been like Ninja. I would have been a freaking millionaire. So yeah, missed opportunities as per usual.
Yeah, well, it's never too late to start, Ellie.
That's fair,
and
that's fair.
And you've got a lot on the horizon for you with Twitch. But specifically, you touched on this earlier, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about it. But we all know the internet can be a very toxic place at times, and content creators are often exposed to some pretty severe trolling, especially for women and foreign nationals. So have you really experienced a lot of that? And what advice would you offer to others who want to get into content creating but are uncertain about the kind of vitriol that can come from the internet?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky question because it's unfortunately the internet is successful. So, like, can I guarantee you that if you put things out there, no one will ever say something mean? Like, no, of course not. But it's like also part of life. You can never guarantee that everyone will always be nice to you. But I do think, it's a question that I struggle with. Like, there's been plenty of times where I've considered quitting. And just flee the country and hide away somewhere because I haven't even been attacked really. It's like small things as well. It could be just people being like, not really feeling Ellie. She's kind of dumb, or something like. It's not. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be sexist or like specific like mean in that way. It can just be like, she's not really my type, and then I'm like, well, okay, well, we gotta get out of here then and never talk to anyone again. So being able to have that tough skin is something I'm still struggling with and haven't been able to find. So I don't really have any advice except for be like. I mean, what I want to be. I would tell if I wish I was like this, but I mean, like, seriously, fuck him. Like, fuck these people.
Yeah,
they're just
because fuck them. That's
exactly
why.
Fuck them. It's like a dumbass asshole on the internet with an opinion. That's what I tell my friends, and I wish I believed that, but I can't.
But you still tend to take it a little personally.
Yeah. Oh, all. I
mean, it can be hard. It can be hard. I mean, because that's the insidious nature about trolls is that they're just saying it like off the cuff behind their keyboards, and like you're the actual person on the other end of that, like having to tell yourself every time, okay, this person doesn't actually know me, or fuck them, I'm not making this for them, like no, like it's just tough. Yeah,
we did get after Lost Mountain, I think we it was a little unfortunate positioning as well because I used three people. We were three people connected with the glass cannon as well in one way or another. Even though Anne and I would have done something regardless of glass cannon, I think. But Sydney I met through glass cannon. But it was a lot of comparison with us and them, even though we were not like affiliated at all with this. And I remember thinking like it lends us. It's not a great position to be in, to be like having to be compared to someone to a network that has so much more money and so much more resources to put into something, and also so much more experience, and like having done this a couple of times. So I remember we got a bunch of emails where people were like, you should like in the realm of sexist, in a way that you like, why don't you ask the boys to help you, like like why don't you like that kind of stuff. And after a while it's just like, first of all, what makes you think I haven't asked? Like perhaps we have asked, perhaps we have talked to them, like it's not just assuming that this is a project of me wanting to be an independent woman or whatever. Like I don't know, but like the second of all, I'm like just like stop it. Like that's the sort of stuff I've recently encountered. But otherwise, people have been very, very, very nice. But like, you can't please everyone, and I think you just have to sort of accept that.
Absolutely, I think that's definitely the way to look at it, and to just, like you said, just say fuck them.
Yep.
Because they don't matter. You're never gonna have to.
And it's usually the people who would never do anything themselves to put themselves out there. Like, it's usually the people who are just having an opinion about something, but they never put themselves out there. So it's like, why should you listen to them? But it's hard. It's really, really hard. And I think if you're really passionate about something, do it anyway and see how it goes. You might find an audience and you might not. And, at least you tried.
Yeah. And just have fun with it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Ellie, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real treat for us. It's been a pleasure. We've enjoyed it so much. But before we go, where can our listeners find you and your various projects? Like, go ahead, plug everything.
Oh, shit. My name is usually connected to all of my handles. My Twitch is Ellinor DiLorenzo. My YouTube is Ellinor DiLorenzo, and it's spelled Ellinor. I know that's a rare spelling for Ellinor. And then Twitter is Ellie DiLorenzo, Elli instead. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And then Lost Mountain is lostmountainsaga.com. So if you want to check that out. I don't think, and Androids and Aliens we just returned. So every Friday night at 8 p.m. Twitch.tv/TheGlassCannon. And we were live then, and then we have the podcast being released and YouTube video released on Wednesdays.
Awesome. Ellie, thank you so much.
Thank you. This was so much fun. I feel like I talked so much, but I hope...
Well, that's the whole point.
Well, that is the whole point.
That's the whole point, Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ellie, for joining us.
Thank you.
It's a great conversation.
It was so much fun. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, well, we'll see you.
See ya.
Yeah, we'll see you.